Well, good afternoon here. We're in day 12 down here at Las Vegas, Nevada Federal Court in the Bundy trial. We've had another good morning so far. A lot of new things we're again learning, and I'll kind of go over the morning with you as people come on. We've had several new people come in from different parts of the country again today to join us in the trial. We've got a gentleman from Florida that's here. He's going to be here for a few days, it sounds like, to observe. We've also got a state representative, Dorothy Moon, from Idaho. Her and her husband are here. We are honored to have them here in the courtroom observing and listening. They've been some great supporters. As you know, that there was a letter that she had got signed a while back for some of the Idaho political prisoners. They got 53 signatures at that point, and she's even added another signature since then. So we've got 54 signatures on that. I sat down with her just briefly before here. Hi, Kaylee, how you doing? And Mark, and good to see everybody on here. Melissa. So this morning we started out as normal, trying to take care of some objections and motions for the first half hour of the hour. It took us about an hour actually as we got started. There was a lot of things argued back and forth of what was going to be allowed and what wasn't going to be allowed. The government only wanted to play a portion of a recording that was recorded of Ryan Bundy at one point, and this was back in March of 2014, prior to the roundup or the impoundment of the cows. This recording, they wanted to play about 10 minutes of an hour-long recording of Ryan. Mr. Whipple got up and argued that this whole thing should be put in, not just part of it. And the government keeps asserting back that this is self-serving, that it has no beneficial things in it that will benefit the defense team or the prosecution, that is self-serving. All it does is bring out like character-type witnesses, a character witness of the defendant himself or something like that, that they didn't want the jurors to hear this. And so anyway, we argued that for quite some time. The judge overruled them as normal in most of these incidents and said that she was not going to allow this whole video or this whole recording to be played. She was only going to allow this 10 minutes or so that the government wanted to have heard by the jurors. So anyway, we called in our first witness of today and this week, which is witness number 3. Another government agent is Shalakis. He is a special BLM officer. He actually has worked since 1998 in law enforcement. And several things that came out with this witness that I found interesting. He actually goes to training to learn how to be a witness on the stand. And they ask him, how many times have you been a witness for the government? He said so many times he didn't even know. He couldn't even count how many times he's testified on the behalf of the federal government in some form or another. He, again, like I said, he's been to training to be a witness. So he's a professional witness that works for the government. This agent started testifying on things that was happening in the month of March. He's not supposed to testify at this point on anything about the impoundment at this point. He may be called later. The government has reserved their right to recall him at a later point to bring in other types of evidence at a later point. So right now, March 17th is the dates roundabout that we are discussing on his testimony. And we're not supposed to stray from that, just around the month of March. But Mr. Shalakis and Mr. Johnson, both BLM officers, went out prior to the impoundment, went to the Bundy home looking for Clive and Bundy or any of the Bundy family to let them know that this impoundment supposedly was going to be taking place. And their job was to see what the reactions of the Bundys were. Whether the Bundys were going to act in violence back or fight them or try to stop the impoundment, what they was just trying to gather evidence on this. He made no contact with any family members up until this one point, and they was driving around out on the range looking for cows, looking for Bundy's members of the family to see if they could come across any of them out on the public lands. And they came across one member of the Bundy family. His last name is Cox. He's married to one of Cliven's daughters, Chancey Cox. I think that's his name, Chancey Cox. Clancy Cox. And sorry about getting names wrong here, but Clancy Cox. They came across him and they wanted him to see if he could get a hold of Cliven. And he was able to get a hold of Cliven. Clancy was able to get a hold of him on the phone and talk to Cliven just a few moments, and the conversation ended. During this whole questioning of this witness, it came out some brand new evidence. This brand new evidence is that these two agents recorded the whole conversation between Clancy and another individual that was with Clancy. They recorded it. This was a recording that we've never known about again until today. So what's the biggest part about this recording is that they intentionally kept it away from the defense again. And what was in this recording that that they wanted to keep it out away from the defense? What we found out up until now, we're going to find out, the judge gave the prosecutors at lunch here 1 hour to produce this video. This recording, 1 hour. So after lunch, this recording is supposed to, the prosecutors have to have that back in this courtroom. She wants to hear this because these two agents supposedly right now, and it hasn't came out 100%, but this is the allegations from the defense team, from Mr. Whipple, that these two agents solicited Clancy Cox to become an informant, or they tried to bribe him, is what Mr. Whipple said, to work as an informant against the Bundy family, to offer him compensation, possibly offer him no jail time or arrest for not interfering. It's really broad. Like, what all did they offer him? What did they threaten Clancy Cox with? Clancy turned down their offer, would not work with them. He even up on the threats of these alleged threats that the agents offered. But we're going to find out, hopefully after lunch, what was in these recordings if the prosecutors do their job and turn over these recordings. That is the biggest news of the day. Other than that, after the jurors left the room, and just before she let us out for lunch, the prosecution held their peace until the jurors left. They was very upset. They said that Mr. Whipple accused a federal officer of a federal crime that he would never commit, of committing bribery. This never happened. And the judge says, well, I want to see the recording then. Where's the recording? Why haven't you given it over to the defense up until now? They was totally mute on that. They didn't have an answer why they didn't return it in, except that, well, the defense could have asked us for it if they wanted it. Well, nobody knew about this recording until today. How could they ask for something they don't know? If they have discovery and information hidden from the defense and have not turned it over with the other thousands and thousands of other documents, why did this recording get left out on the same day that they actually recorded Ryan Bundy for an hour, but we don't even know about this other recording? Why did they leave that out? So this is big news here for the defense. It's definitely going to be an interesting afternoon, and again, it proves misconduct by these prosecutors up here. And we've got a lot more information hopefully coming out here after lunch. Did this BLM officer, Salakis and Johnson, did they talk to the prosecution back in March of 2014? We've got one of the members of the prosecution team that was there on the ground. We want to know all the connection here and what this government is hiding. It's fallen apart day by day, and it's very encouraging to see and be a part of this Another good point here before I close is that Greg Burleson and Todd Engel, they definitely need a retrial. At the very least, their case was built on fraud, and their case was built on lies in the first trial and the second trial. They definitely need a retrial, and they need released immediately pending this retrial. It was all the evidence that has been brought out in just these last 2 weeks could have exonerated those guys, could have found them and would have found them not guilty based on what we're hearing now. Those jurors should have got all this information. Those defendants should have got all of this this evidence that has been kept back and has been coming out. The video cameras, the snipers, all of this stuff was not allowed in that first trial. The government, the prosecutors intentionally kept this from those jurors, and those jurors did not get to hear the full truth. I've got to be back in court in just a few minutes, but we're gonna have a big ending here to the end of this day. Well, what we're gonna find out today is gonna be very interesting, and it's gonna be could be a big dismissal. It should be a dismissal, but we'll see if this judge allows that, or if she's going to continue with the tyranny in this courtroom, the way things have been going, and continue letting this stuff be hidden. Again, thanks everybody. We'll be back again as quick as we can, about 5 o'clock or shortly after, as soon as this next session is over with, and we'll have you some more updates. Thanks again, everybody. God bless, and we'll keep you informed. Well, good afternoon, everyone. This is the end of day 12 in Las Vegas, Nevada. The jury trial here is going on for Ryan Payne, Ryan Bundy, Cliven Bundy, Ammon Bundy. We are at another end here, and we've got some really good, interesting facts that happen here again. Yeah, Michael, I'm just like clockwork. It's 5 o'clock. I'm surprised I made it on time. There's a lot going on, and things change every day. How you doing, Tal and Tammy? It's every day something changes down here. New things come out. We've got some awesome attorneys that are working on this case, and it has been a battle that the government did not expect. These prosecutors have been struggling from day one. It's just unexplainable how awesome it has been to watch this stuff unfold. We've got this morning we spent over an hour arguing before the jurors came in over a video, or actually an audio that the government did not want admissible, did not want the jurors to hear. This video was 46 plus minutes long, or this audio, and this audio was of 2 BLM officers that recorded Ryan Bundy in a phone conversation. They fought hard to keep it out. The judge ordered that it was not relevant to this case, and that they didn't need it. It was self-serving and so on, and that the jurors were not going to get to hear it. We proceeded with the testimony of this witness, Shaleski, Agent Shaleski, and he, in this testimony, we elicited stuff that we didn't know before. We found out there was a second audio that had not been released yet. This second audio, the defense team wants to know where it's at and why wasn't it turned over up until just now. We're already day 12 in a jury trial. Why didn't we have it? This could be crucial to the defense team. So we had a lunch break. The judge gave the prosecutors 1 hour to turn over this audio that had been missing for the last 3-4 years here. We have not got to hear what that audio has to say yet. But the turn of events after lunch, what happened is the government felt that the defense belittled them made them look like they were hiding evidence. So the 46-minute audio that the government objected to having heard, they decided after lunch they wanted to hear it after all. So we sat and we listened to 46 minutes of an awesome audio that Ryan Bundy was speaking to these BLM officers and explaining to them what the Constitution was, why they should be upholding this Constitution. They took an oath to protect this Constitution. He even went as far to say is, we're not losing our rights overseas. We're losing our rights right here in this country. Our own people are taking our rights away from us. These federal officers have took an oath to protect this, and you've taken it away from us. And he went on saying how they should uphold this oath. And these officers kept saying, well, we're just here to do our job. We're just here to do our job. And Ryan in this audio kept saying, your job is to uphold the Constitution. You're abusing our rights. And for you to come here and take our property, our cows, destroy our livelihood is wrong. It's unconstitutional, it's wrong. We heard a total 46-minute sermon again from Ryan Bundy in this audio. No wonder the government didn't want it played. It was just awesome to hear. The government then did turn over a second audio. This one's of Clancy Bundy, or Clancy Cox. He's a son-in-law of Cliven Bundy. He's married to one of Cliven's daughters. This audio was turned over, but it was turned over late in the day. So since it was turned over late in the day, we're not going to have any court tomorrow until 1 o'clock. It's going to give the defense team more time to listen to it and figure out what's in it. And this witness is going to continue to have to stay here. He wanted to be released today to go home, but the defense says, no, we need this witness a little longer. We're not done with this witness. We need to see what this audio that we haven't had for the last 2 years, we want to see what it is. And we want to be able to question this witness about this audio that he personally took. And so he has firsthand knowledge, and there's no sense in letting this witness go all the way back to Colorado without actually getting these questions answered right now. So the government ordered that. We're going to have some hearings in the morning. Court will start about 10 o'clock, and that's just for motions and hearings concerning this audio and how we're going to bring it forth to the jurors. But it looks like tomorrow after 1 o'clock, the jurors will get to hear this video, this audio that has been hidden from the defense team for the last 2 years. They're going to get to hear it. This has been an ongoing thing from day one. Every day something new gets turned over. We find out more and more where the government is hiding stuff in these secret courts. And this is literally a secret court. Whether we have observers allowed to listen to bits and pieces of it, there are so much stuff sealed in here. We as observers don't even have access to the discovery. It's all hidden to the public. There's so much. Why is the government hiding this stuff? Their own emotions and actions today prove it. They don't want the jurors to know the truth. They Mr. Myrie today was the one who done the talking, done the cross-examination, and done the examination of this witness. Sheesh was literally having a conniption fit. He could not hardly contain himself. He didn't talk. He was up and down, shaking his head, throwing his hands up. He was obviously upset at this new information that keeps getting uncovered by these attorneys. These attorneys, they are listening closely. They're paying attention, and any little thing that keeps getting brought up new, they jump on it, they pounce on it. And it appears to me, as I'm sitting in there, it looks more like the government is being prosecuted than the defense team. The prosecutors have struggled from day one. They have struggled every single day with their witnesses. Instead of a long questioning of their own government witnesses. They spend just an hour or two, and the defense team spends hours and hours cross-examining this witness, trying to get them to answer the questions, trying to get them to answer truthfully. In finding out, they've uncovered all this stuff. Every single day they keep uncovering more things. So tomorrow, court will start at 10 o'clock in the morning instead of our normal 8:30. It will, the jurors will not be in until 1 o'clock, so it's just going to be these arguments and discussions decided before the jurors come in. At 1 o'clock, we will then get to have the jurors back in to still go through this last witness that we have. And then this witness still may go into Wednesday, because we only have a half a day tomorrow with the jurors. Wednesday, we only have another half a day with the jurors. They don't get into 1 o'clock. We'll start at 8:30 in the morning on Wednesday. More motions and arguments and more dismissals needs to be heard on Wednesday. So there's a lot of good things taking place down here every single day. It's always something new, and we've literally been sitting on the edge of our seats all day today with everything. It wasn't a boring moment, I got to say, in there at all. Again, thank you for waiting for me here. We're trying to get his, did Ammon, let me look at that there again. Did Ammon's attorney give opening arguments yet? No, Ammon's attorney did not give opening arguments. His will be probably sometime in January or maybe even February. It's going to be towards the end of the case before he gets on there. One thing we got to say here, and this got brought up today in some of the talks here. Todd Engel, Greg Burleson, those two guys did not get a fair trial. None of those guys got a fair trial. But that first trial, all of this evidence that has been brought out in these last 12 days would have proven to those first jurors that those guys were innocent. This stuff was left out. They wasn't able to use this stuff. They were told to that was not relevant to the case, that they could not use it. It was hearsay. It was all this stuff. It was totally a lie from day one. Those guys, those two guys there, they deserve a new trial, and they should be getting one. We recommend that they file immediately for these new trials. Them guys should be getting out on these on that grounds alone of all this evidence being hidden. On another note, in Montana, Joe Robertson, his appeals was denied by the Supreme Court. I think the Ninth Circuit Court denied his motion for a new trial or having it overturned. But he does get out of the halfway house this coming Friday and does go home for good. So he done served his sentence. He was just hoping his sentencing would get overturned and he would be found not guilty on that and could get his rights back to vote and have a gun and all the things that he was stripped of all of his rights. The Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, yes, they denied that today. And I know that the Joe Robertson page is going to be making an update later about that. I talked to them, so they're going to, if they haven't already did it, they're going to be, we can hopefully go to the Supreme Court above them, get this still heard. But Joe Robertson on Friday gets to go home from the halfway house, and he'll be home back on his farm there in Montana. I think that's all the updates I have for now. But, one more thing. The 93-year-old doctor, he will be at 9 o'clock here in Las Vegas on Wednesday, 9 o'clock on Wednesday morning. He walks out of here, or his wheelchair, he'll be pushed out of here at 9 o'clock sometime in the morning. He's going to be, it's going to be finalized that he's going to be released and get to go home. So the 93-year-old doctor, he's going to be leaving this courthouse. It's right behind me here sometime on Wednesday morning and getting to go home. His family called me here at lunchtime and let me know that, and so we're going to be down here in support of him and shake his hand, give him a hug, and we're just happy that he gets to go home and happy for his family. Again, we'll be back tomorrow. We We'll have some short updates probably at noon, and then our big update will be tomorrow evening because of the jurors. They don't get to come in till 1 o'clock, but we'll keep you updated. Check back with us, and look forward to seeing you tomorrow. God bless.